Hello guys, in today's video I would like to show you how you can navigate through your JavaScript code, which is basically part of the debugging video series as well. So let's just straight jump into it. I have my file, HTML index file open here, and let's use the Command Alt I shortcut to open our Chrome DevTools. And here we are, guys, we are in our debug.js file, and let's just create one breakpoint as we know how to do it from the previous video. And I'm just gonna create one breakpoint here on line 3, and let's run our JavaScript code. And there we go, guys, our code stops on line number 3 as we set our breakpoint on line number 3. So now the first navigation method I would like to show you, it goes step over. So basically you can code this, you can move this from this little arrow here on the top right, which is like basically jump over one dot. And what this one basically will do, it's step through code line by line to get insight into how each line affects the variables being updated. And should your code call another function, the debugger won't jump into its code, instead stepping over so that the focus remains on the current function scope. So let's see what will happen. Now I'm starting with this, just pressing it here. And as you can see, guys, first our code was running from line 1 to line 3 where the code was stopped because of our breakpoint, and then instead of going into the function here, it just jumped on the next line of executable code in the global scope, means outside of this function globally. So basically all the code beside except this function, it's a global scope. So if I keep pressing here, it goes on line 13, where I defined my numbers variable, change to true. Then if I press one more time, it jumps to my array. Then if I press one more time, goes to the console log message, and now it's going to the next executable code, which is where on line 20, where I invoke my calc function. And now, guys, pay attention. When I press one more time, it doesn't go into the function, basically stays on the global scope and keep looking for lines of code which are executable on the global scope. Then if I press one more time, basically execute my first name alert window here by taking the first argument of my array, which is my name, first name Martin. Press OK. Then goes to the numbers variable defined as number 3. Then I press one more time, go into the alerts, and if I press it again, executing this line of code, my second name, and then pressing one more time, going to the console log, last line of code, and there we go, guys. This is how you use step over function to debug your code. Okay, the next thing I would like to show you guys, let me just execute my code until the end, so it stop, and there you go. The next option I would like to show you, it's called step into. So basically, like step over, this is basically the same. It's just like, however, clicking the step into at the function call will cause the debugger to move its execution to the first line in the function definition. So it means that as I'm walking through my code, And as I go to the line 20, where I'm invoking my function calc over here, it will step in and it will go to the line of codes in my function. So let's see, let's create again one breakpoint on line number 3 and execute our JavaScript code, and there we go. We run our JavaScript code and it stops on line 3 where we set our breakpoint again. And just to confirm, if I go to my console, we must see only this message over here. There you go. Let's start with the JavaScript debugging. Okay, we're going back to a source. And now I'm just going to use stepping to the next function call option, pressing once. And again, we skip this function because it's not executable code yet, because we didn't invoke the function yet. And the line jumped to the console log message. Then we go into the next line, number 2, where we defined our variable numbers. We change the value to 2. Then we go into our array, console log message again, and now pay attention here. Once we click on line number 20 where we invoke our function, if I press one more time, instead of going to alert message on line 22, goes back and start executing our function. And if I press again and go on the second line, if I press again, go to the third line with the console log message one more time, we are closing basically the function here. And there you go, guys. Once the function is executed, we continue with the next line of executable code in our global scope. So yeah, this is where the name comes from. Step into, makes sense. We just go into the function, execute all the lines of code in the function, and if I keep pressing, I'm going to execute basically line number 22, and I'm just going to keep pressing until the code is finished. Okay, and there we go. We are basically finished the code. Okay. The last option, guys, I would like to show you, it's basically called step out, and as the name probably makes sense to you, it's basically stepping out from the scope you are currently in. So let's start this example with by defining one breakpoint in here, and I'm just gonna purposely put one breakpoint into the function number 6. Okay, and let's refresh. And as we go, our code stops on line number 3 when I use the step into the next function. Basically go to the console log, numbers variables, our array, our console message, and now pay attention here. We're on line number 20 where we invoke our function calc. We step into our function and we are basically into the breakpoint on line number 6, and I'm just going to press one more time step into the function option just to show you guys. And now we are on line number 7 into the scope of this function. And now if I press step out of the current function option here, our line jumped to the below calculation invoke line. So we're basically jumping outside of this function scope, and now we are in the global scope. So yeah, this is basically, if you are like it could be like, you know, few levels deep into the, like, let's say this function have another function and that function have another function, and then by pressing this button here, guys, no matter where we are, in which line of code, it will basically jump out of the and go back to the parent scope of the given function. Oh, okay, guys, this basically it was all. I'm happy that you have watched this video and hope you understand how to navigate through your code using step over, step into, and step out options here. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.